Let us start by chanting the chapter 50. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulam Madhashakam Ashvatam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adas Chordhvam Prasatastasya Sakha Guna Pravirda Vishaya Pravala Adascha mulani anusamtatani karmanubhandini manu shaloke narupamasye atato palapyate nanto nachadir nacha samprachishta ashvatamenam suvirudamulam asangasastrena dridena chitva tatha padam tad parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivatanti bhuya tam eva chadyam purusham prapadye yatta pravarti prashata purani Nirvana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivrita kama dvandver vimukta sukha dukha samnir kachanta muda padamauyayam tat na tad vasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka Yadgatva na nivartante taddama paramam mama mamayvamso jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastani indriyani prakatishthani karshati sariram yadavapnoti yakchakyutkramati swara Krihitvetani samyati vayurgandhani vansayat srotram chakshus prasanam cha prasanam granam evacha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvidam Vimudhananupashyanti Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha Yatanto Yoginaschainam Pashyantiyatmanyavashtitam Yatanto Pyakritatmano Nainam Pashyanta Chedasaha Yad Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagadvasayate Khilam Yak Chandramasi Yak Chaknau Tat Tejo Vidimamakam Gam Avishya Chabutani Dharayam Yaham Ojasa Pushnami Chausadi Sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmaka Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana samayukta pachamyanam chaturvidam vasya chaham hridisam nivishto matta smitirdyanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham Dvau imau purushau loke charascha chara evacha chara sarvani bhutani kutashto chara uchyate uttama purushastvanya paramatmetyudarata yo lokatrayamavishya vibharatya vyaya ishvara Yashmacharam atitoham aksharaadapi chotama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama yo mam evam asammudo janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata iti guyatamam shastram idam muktam mayanaka etad budva buddhimanshan kritakrityascha bharata. Om Tatsaditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottama Yogo Nam Panchadasodhyaya. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Krishna Arpanam Astu Shubham Bhuyat Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Hari Om to all of you. Okay, last week we have stopped until chapter 18, verse number 45. So let us recap the important point that Krishna is making here. From verse 41, he introduced the caste system. And this is very important for us to understand because always our caste system is misunderstood, it is criticized, etc. But what exactly is this caste system? We have to understand when we go back to chapter 4, verse 13. Okay, so let's have a look at chapter 4, verse 13. That is on page 94. Or 84, I think. So here in the verse number 13, Krishna said, Chatur Varnyam. He identified the caste system as Chatur. Chatur means four. So there is only four classes in the class system. There is no such thing as all the names you hear now of this caste and that caste and that caste. Caste system is only titled with four names, Chatur. And what is it? It calls it Varnyam. Varnyam, which means it is from the color. What color? Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. This forms our nature. So all of us have these three gunas in us, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. But depending which guna is stronger or predominant in us, that will be your caste system. So what does it tell us? It tells us that your caste system is not determined by the family you're born. It is determined by your own nature. Okay? And who has created this caste system? Krishna says here, Maya Shrishtam. It has been created by God. So it is not a man-made caste system. It is given by the divine himself. And he mentions that he doesn't, he goes on later to mention the caste system, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. This is the fourfold caste system. That's why Chatur Varnyam, fourfold. And what is it based on? In the second line of the Sanskrit text, verse 13, you can see the word Guna Karma Vibhagayo. Bhaga means it is divided. Vibhaga, when we add the prefix vi in front of the word bhaga, it means it is very clearly, distinctly divided. There is no confusion at all. Okay. What is it divided along? Guna and karma. So your guna means your own nature, whether you're sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. And karma means by the type of work that you're doing. So either by your own nature or by the type of work you're doing, you are classified under these four systems. Can you change your caste system? Yes, you can change. Are you bound? Is your caste system dictated by the family you're born in? Not at all. So this is something we must understand very clearly. Okay, we have the freedom to move. We can change our caste system according to our nature. Okay. So now we come back to the verses of today, when verses 41, 42, 43, 44, these four verses, Krishna has described elaborately the fourfold caste system: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So the Brahmana is classified as one who is more sattvic, and therefore he or she is suited to gather knowledge and to share knowledge with others. So, who are your present day Brahmanas? Your lecturers, your teachers, etc. They are your Brahmanas. Even your priests, because they conduct rituals for people, they also what we call share knowledge with others also. Who are your Kshatriyas? Those are who are in law and order management, who maintain law and order. Your police, your navy. There's some problem with the. Those who are in the maintenance of law and order. So your police, navy, army, etc., your soldiers, and the government officials who serve the public, they are your Kshatriyas. Who are your Vaishyas? The traders, the businessmen. And the Shudras are the laborers who basically do the manual labor. So that is how the class system is divided. Now the question is, we come to the more important point. What is the purpose of having this caste system, which is very beautifully explained in chapter 18, verse number 45. Okay. So now in verse 45, Krishna explains to us why is this caste system there. He says, Abhirataha, every person. So the purpose of having this caste system, he says, Abhirataha, being devoted. Being devoted to what? Swe karmani. Karmani means your whatever is your duty. Swe means your own duty. So each of us have our own duty, our own actions to perform based on two things. One is our own gunas. So what is our nature? We take up that appropriate profession. Teacher, lawyer, doctor, engineer, whatever it is, you take up that profession. And he says you must be devoted to your duty. The second aspect of duty is it changes according to our age as we go on. So when you're a bachelor, you got different duties. As a married person, different duties. You become a retired person, you have different duties, and so forth. So with your own gunas and depending on your age as you go up, you change your duties. But he says you must be devoted to your duties. Now, the word devoted here, abhirataha, will have a more deeper meaning as we go on to the verses. But what he's basically trying to tell us is that there must be devotion in your duty. And why should we have devotion in our duty? He explains here. By being devoted to your own duty, labate, a person attains samsiddhim, perfection. So we always think that, okay, first of all, let us understand what does he mean by this samsiddhim, perfection. How by doing our own duty, we can attain perfection. What is this perfection? So perfection here means purity of mind. Because our mind has got many impurities. What are the impurities? Ego, greed, anger, jealousy, etc., etc. So by doing our own duties, and there is a secret to it, how by doing our own duties can we attain that perfection? How can we purify our mind just by doing our duty? That is the first question we must address. How by performing my duties can I attain purity of mind? Number one. Number two, what happens after I attain purity of mind? What is the next stage? So these two questions you must keep in mind. First of all, how do we attain purity of mind? Krishna is going to explain in the next few verses. The second question, what happens after I attain purity of mind? Then he says you must come to knowledge. That's when you come to Jnana Yoga. You study the scriptures. Because once your mind is purified, you will have an attraction for the scriptures. You will want to know more of the spiritual knowledge. Are you all feeling hot here? Huh? I don't know why they even set the aircon. What? You have the controls? Yeah. Just set all to, I don't know whatever. Okay, so how does one attain perfection? In this verse here, Krishna tells us in verse 45, how do you attain perfection? He says, Shrunu, now you listen to me. I will explain to you how by the performance of your own duty, you can attain perfection. Swakarma nirataha. One who is devoted to his own duty, vindati siddhim. How will you attain perfection? And what is perfection? Purity of mind. That is the first stage. Okay. Now, here one very important thing we have to understand is there are two stages of this perfection, as I explained to you all last week. One is we call as Jivan Mukta. That means once you attain the state of perfection, there arises in you a thirst for knowledge. You go on the path of Jnana Yoga, path of knowledge. You learn and study the scriptures. Then you understand that you are the soul and not this body. So then you live your life. When you reach that state of perfection, you live your life as a Jivan Mukta. That means nothing that happens in the environment, nothing disturbs you. You are able to go through the ups and downs of life without any disturbance at all. That is called Jivan Mukta. That is the first stage of liberation. And upon death, there is no more cause for rebirth. That is called Videha Mukta, which means you don't have to come back for a subsequent birth. So now, what is the process? Perform your duties, attain purified mind, come to Jnana Yoga, attain knowledge, attain Jivan Mukta. At the end of this birth, you attain Videha Mukta. You don't have to come back for another birth. Okay? So that is also one point we have to keep in mind. Now, all of us normally we think, and this is also very important here because we want to know how now to attain this perfection. So in the next verse now, he starts to explain how one can attain this state of perfection. Now, all of us have one problem. That is, we always think that the other person's work or life is more easier and better than mine. Correct? Agree or not? Right? We always think, and even if you look at Arjuna's case, exactly this was the same problem. What was Arjuna's duty? Kshatriya, which means to uphold law and order, which means to uphold dharma. So Arjuna thought to uphold dharma, to uphold law and order, he's come to the battlefield and he realizes that I have to kill my kith and kin, my relatives and my friends and so forth. So he tells Krishna, instead of incurring this deadly act of killing people, which is not a good thing to kill people, what did he want to do? Run away and become a sannyasi. So why become sannyasi? Because there I don't have to kill anybody. So I'm not going to incur any sin. But the question is, then all of us should be sannyasis. Then who is going to run, who is going to do all the other functions? But what Krishna is telling Arjuna, you as a Kshatriya, by engaging in battle and having to kill, what is the end purpose? Why are you engaging in this battle and killing people? Huh? To uphold dharma. So, what is the end cause? You are a soldier. The Kauravas are coming to kill us because they want to uphold adharma, they want to kill dharma. You have to fight back with that to make sure that dharma is maintained. Okay? A sannyasi, he also upholds dharma. How? By teaching the scriptures, he upholds dharma. So the end result is the same. But that person is a sannyasi, he's got a different way to uphold dharma. You are a kshatriya, you have to maintain law and order. In order for that, you have to kill and uphold dharma. What about a Vaishya, a businessman? How does he also support dharma? You see, Brahmana supports dharma through teaching, spreading the knowledge. So that people learn dharma, they follow the path of dharma. Kshatriya, by using violence, force, he has to uphold dharma. How does a Vaishya, a trader, uphold dharma? Ultimate goal is to
service family without
so
cheating.
okay, a businessman earns money, he makes profit, he takes care of himself, his family. But when he uses his money to set up hospitals, set up schools, set up temples, isn't he also upholding dharma also? He's contributing back to society. So that's why Krishna says, by everyone doing your duty, you can attain perfection. And a Shudra who provides manual labor, he also does his work properly, the whole society functions properly. Your garbage is cleared, your cars are driven, your delivery is done, right? And they also work on making temples. They have to be the workmen who make all the temples. So by doing their dharma also, they are attaining perfection. So what he is trying to tell us is, it is not your duty, but what is it that is going to bring about perfection? It is not the work you do, your attitude, exactly. When your attitude changes, that work becomes devotion. Now, what is that attitude change here? So, that is explained here in verse number 46. Okay. So, in verse number 46, what he says here? Now, two things we have to keep in mind about attitude. Okay. When we talk about doing our duties, two things we have to keep in mind. What is the right attitude? First attitude, every action that we do, we must surrender to the Lord. That is the first attitude. So, I am cooking for my family. Am I cooking for the family? Is that the right attitude? Who is my family? Who should I look upon as my family? Your family is the very nature or the embodiment of the divine himself who is present everywhere. I go to work. Who am I working for? I'm working for Krishna. I'm working for the Lord. So every action is surrendered to the Lord. You know, there's a beautiful song. Actually, it's a Hindi song. But I was hearing it that day. And that first line was sung. You just change one word in that line, that whole song becomes spiritual. Actually, it is a song sung by a lady to her beloved. But the way she sings a song is to direct it to a beloved. But if you take out one word and just change it, it makes a totally different meaning. Let me try to remember what was the song. Okay, I'll sing it first in Hindi, hear it and see, and then I will explain it to you. I'm not a good singer, so please don't judge me. मुझे तुम मिल गए हमदम, सहारा हो तो ऐसा हो, जिधर देखूं उधर तुम हो, नजारा हो तो ऐसा हो. Now, very simple. What she's saying to a beloved, मुझे तुम मिल गए हमदम. Oh, beloved, now that I have met you, now that you have come into my life, Sahara ho to aisa ho. Sahara means you have become my shelter. Now that I have met you, you have come into my life, you are my very shelter. Sahara ho to aisa ho. Jidhar dekhu, Wherever I see, whatever I see, udhar tum ho, you are there. Wherever I look, left or right, front or back, you are all around me. And then she ends by saying, Nazara ho to aisa ho. I'm so blessed to have such a vision that wherever I look, I see you. Now you just take out one word and change it. Which is that word? Huh? Hamdam. You just change the word hamdam. What do you change to? Bhagwan. You change to Bhagwan. Okay. So now you change the line and you sing, Mujhe tum mil gaye Bhagwan. Oh Lord, now that you have come into my life, right? You have come into my life. Sahara ho to aisa ho. You have become my shelter. Jidhar dekhu, wherever I look, udhar tum ho. I only see you, Lord. I see you everywhere, in everyone, in everything. Nazara ho to aisa ho. Oh Lord, I'm so blessed to have such a vision. So when a devotee of Lord, and this is what this verse 46 is all about, it is saying that when a devotee of Lord sees the presence of Lord in everywhere and everything, therefore every action he does, he or she does, is in service of the Lord, that action becomes a prayer or an act of devotion, and that action purifies you. So with that understanding, as I said, the two things is, first, every action must be surrendered to the Lord, number one. Number two, when you surrender the action to the Lord, do you think the outcome will be positive? When you surrender to the every action to the Lord, do you think every action will become positive? So sometimes it may be positive, sometimes it may not be what you expected, right? Favorable or unfavorable. So the second aspect is, how do I handle that result, the karma phala? Do I get disturbed? Do I get carried away when people praise me? Do I go into dejection when people criticize me? No, I must maintain a equilibrium in my mind. So first action, I must surrender to the Lord. Second is, when I receive the result, it must not agitate me, it must not disturb my mind. Those are the two fundamental things we must do. So now we go into this verse. Krishna says, now this is the attitude. Yatha, we must understand, who am I serving? He says, you are serving the Lord through your actions. Well, where is this Lord? So he says, Yatha, from whom pravriti, the origin of Bhutanam, of this whole creation. You must understand, who am I serving? The very Lord who has brought forward this whole creation. So who has created you? Who has created you? Don't look at your IC and say so and so, analalaki, so and so. Huh? Who has created you? The Lord himself has created you and everything else in this creation. Okay, so it says, from whom pravrti, the origin of Bhutanam, this whole creation has emerged. We have all come from that one supreme being. Okay, so we should be thankful for this life that is given us. You know, one Swamiji put it so beautifully. He says, when somebody gives you a watch, what do? When somebody, your birthday, gives you a watch, what do? Huh? You wear it. Then what? You say thank you to the giver, right? But do you say thank you to the one who's given you the hand to wear the watch? So this whole body has come to us from the Lord. We should be so thankful, so grateful for giving us this life. Yena sarvam, Yata pravrti bhutanam, number one. Yena sarvam, by whom? Not only did he create this whole creation, but yena, by whom? Sarvam idam, this whole creation, meaning moving and non-moving. Moving and non-moving. Tatam, he also pervades the whole creation. He is in all living beings. He is in all inactive beings also. In the trees, in the flowers, in the rocks, in the stones, everywhere he is. So now, we understand what is the law of creation. The law of creation says there is a cause and there is an effect, correct? So if I say wood is the cause, table is the effect, what do I mean by that? Wood is the cause, table is the effect. What should I understand by that?
There's wood, there's table.
Because there's wood, there's table. Number one, very good. Second, where is the wood? In the table. Okay. Gold is the cause. Ornaments are the effect. Without gold, there can be no ornaments. Where is gold? In the ornaments. God is the cause. World is the effect. Without God, there can be no world. And where is God? In the world. Therefore, He is in every one of us. So He says, not only has He created the world, but Sarvam idam tatam, Sarvam idam, this whole creation, moving and non-moving, He also tatam, He also pervades this whole creation. So therefore, that is our attitude. Whatever we are doing, whatever work we are doing, we are not serving ourselves, we are not serving our families, etc. We are serving the Lord. That should be our attitude. Okay. And this also many times it has been repeated in the Gita. So don't forget, chapter 18 is a summary of all the teachings of the Gita. Right? So again, the same thing is going to be repeated here. Lord is both the intelligent cause and the material cause of this universe. Right? Because another thing we can say, a carpenter takes the wood and creates the world. But God is also the intelligent creator, and even the material is provided by Him. Because in the beginning, there was no material. So the material also came from God. So that means He has created the whole creation. Now, the question is, what do you do now that you know that God is the creator and He's also in the creation? So He says, Abhyarikshya, by adoring, by pleasing Tam, pleasing the Lord. How do you please the Lord? You want to serve the Lord? You want to please the Lord? How do you do it? See, that's why many people think elaborate rituals. I go here, I go pilgrimage, I, break so many coconuts and this and that. I do elaborate havans and all that. Now, we must understand, religion is also, we are not against rituals. But our purpose is we have misunderstood the reason for performing the rituals. So even in that text, Bhaja Govindam, the very first line, Bhaja Govindam, is so beautiful, it hits us on the head, straight away. How many of you know Bhaja Govindam? Okay, good. So what is the first line? Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Who's the Mudamate? I didn't say it. No. He is addressing it to that old man because Adi Shankaracharya, who composed Bhaja Govindam, was walking along the river banks and he sees this old man reading a text written by Panini. So Panini wrote a text on grammar. How should each word be pronounced perfectly? Now this old man is sitting on his deathbed. He's about to die anytime. And what is he wasting his time doing? Instead of Bhaja Govindam, he's trying to understand how to pronounce each word perfectly so that his prayers will go to the Lord. But he's telling this person, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Muda Mate, oh you fool, Samprapte Sanihite Kale. Now that Kala, who's Kala? Huh?
He's the old man, right?
No, Kala is the god of death, Yama. Lord Yama is coming anytime now to take you. Samprapte Sanihite Kale. Anytime is ready to take you. Nahi rakshati dukhrin karne. Nahi rakshati. Rakshati means it will not protect you. This way that you're trying to just memorize how to pronounce the grammatical words is not going to save you from what we call from another birth. You're going to come back again and again. What Shankara is trying to say is we are just foolishly performing rituals, not understanding the purpose of performing rituals. What is the purpose of performing rituals and prayers, going on pilgrimages, etc.? It is not wrong. But what is the purpose? How do you know? How do you know? It's given in the Gita. I've taken you all through this verse before. It is mentioned here. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse number, the very famous verse here. 33, yes, very good. Chapter 4, verse 33. Very clearly is told us. Verse 33, if you look at the Sanskrit text, especially the last two lines. Sarva karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. O Partha, O Arjuna, sarva karma, all the actions that you're doing, all the prayers, the rituals, your duty, everything that you do, actions that you're doing, parisamapyate, culminate in jnanam. They bring you to the doorstep of knowledge. So the purpose we must understand of performing the rituals is not just to get more and more worldly rewards. It's okay, you can do that. But you're not going to progress. The best way is to surrender and tell the Lord, whatever prayers I'm doing, whatever you think is right for me, you give it to me. You don't have to ask for anything. What you'll get is purity of mind. He says here, and that purity of mind will culminate in parisamapyate, in jnanam, in knowledge. And when the time comes, what should you do? When your time comes for knowledge, what should you do? Look at the next verse. What does the next verse say? Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninam tattvadarshina. You have to look for a guru. Okay? You have to serve the guru. You have to question the guru. You have to surrender to the guru and the knowledge and attain that knowledge from the guru. So there is a process. The whole process has been given to us. Okay? In the Gita. So now here he's saying, Abhyariksha, how do you adore, how do you please this God? Swa karmana, swa means your own, karmana, by your own duties. So worship the Lord by doing your duty with the right attitude, understanding that He is everywhere. Whoever you're serving is, your attitude should be, I am serving the Lord. And therefore, what happens when we serve the Lord with the right attitude? Manava, a human being, vindati, attains siddhim, perfection. Again, what is this perfection? Purity of mind. That is the very first stage. Because without purity of mind, nothing is going to work. You are not going to advance on the spiritual path. So understand why you're performing rituals, why you're doing prayers, why you're going on pilgrimage, why should you perform your duties, and never ever compare to somebody who you think is having a more easier time. We always think that the most luckiest people in the world are who? Who are the most luckiest people in the world? We always think. Swamiji is no. Very easy life, right? Travel here, travel there, just give lectures, people look after you. Very easy, very comfortable life. That person is going to attain moksha. Correct or not? Is it an easy life? It's not an easy life. Getting up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, doing meditation, doing prayers, reading the scriptures, going out to lecture, wearing the same orange robes every day, cannot change Jojo among me, what you call this, Hugo Boss and all that. It's not an easy life. Eating vegetarian food every day, simple food. Lunch you get, you know what you get for lunch? 2 chapatis and 1 vegetable. Then dinner time, what do you get? 1 vegetable also. So it's not an easy life, but we think that they are ready for moksha, they are ready. No, it's not that. That means what Krishna is telling us here, it is not whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. It is the attitude towards your action that is going to liberate you. So that is an important point. That's why the saying is, do you work from happiness or do you work for happiness? Which is the right way? Do you work from happiness or do you work for happiness? From happiness. So when you are serving the Lord, you're working from happiness. But when you think you're serving the world, there's agitation in your mind, there's anger in your mind, there's frustration in your mind, then you are trying to search for happiness through your work. So here Krishna has given us the very key. Since the supreme being is everywhere, whoever we serve, whatever work we do, ultimately we are serving the Lord in this creation also. Okay. So now we go on to the very next verse. He goes on to explain to us in verse number 47, chapter 18. So, very important point again he's making here. What he says, Swadharma, our own duty, okay, even though it is viguna, even though it is defective, even though you can't efficiently perform it, okay, it is better, he says, to do your own duty, even though it is not efficiently done, rather than doing paradharma. Paradharma. So there's a difference here between swadharma, which is my duty, and paradharma, which means somebody else's duty. So he says, doing one's own duty, even though it is defective. Defective means you don't perform it to the maximum capacity. It is better than others' duty. Why? You see, when we have certain inclination, some kind of our gunas lead us to a particular type of duty. In every duty, there is a challenge, isn't it? There is nobody's duty which doesn't have a challenge. Everybody has got a different set of challenges. So we try to run away from our duties and we think by doing that other person's duty, there are less challenges. It is not true. So what Krishna is telling us is that just follow your own, what we call your own swadharma, that means your own nature, and whatever duty you do, whatever the challenges, you have to be prepared. Because why have you been put into this situation to meet these challenges? To what? Because of your own karmas. Your own karmas which you have to exhaust have brought you into this situation where you're doing your duty and you're meeting these challenges. By running away from these challenges, what happens to the karmas? Are they exhausted? So in another way, again, you're going to meet back these same karmas again. So every time you meet an obstacle, what we call a challenge in your duty, we have to change our attitude. Not change your duty, change your attitude. So here he's saying, better to perform your own duty with all the challenges rather than trying to perform somebody else's duty which looks more easy. So there's a beautiful story also told in the Ramayana. The sage Vishwamitra, okay? Vishwamitra, you must have heard about Vishwamitra, was a very famous sage. And Vishwamitra used to perform rituals, okay? But the demons, there were demons who tried to destroy his rituals. So they used to, every time he does a fire yajna, they come and throw a lot of impurities inside. They throw blood, bones, and all that. So Vishwamitra was not very happy. He went to see Raja Dasarath, who is the father of Lord Rama. And he told the king, he said, please send your son Rama to destroy these demons because they are disturbing my rituals every day. Now, initially, the king didn't want to send Rama because Rama was very young at that time, I think 15 or 16 years old. But then the sage got very angry. He said, you have a duty as a king to protect your subjects, so you have to send Rama. So finally, they sent Rama, and who is that? I think Lakshmana also followed him, followed the sage to the forest. Now, the sage gave certain mantras to Lord Rama by which he could invoke divine weapons to kill all these demons. So he got the mantras from the sage Vishwamitra, and he and the brother attacked and killed all the demons. Now the question is asked, if Vishwamitra could give the mantras to Rama to destroy the demons, why didn't he do it himself? Huh? Exactly. So a sannyasi knows my duty is to do prayers, rituals, and spread knowledge. Although I have the capacity to know these mantras, but it is not my duty of a Kshatriya to go and fight with people. So who is Lord Rama? Lord Rama is a Kshatriya. I give the mantras to him, you go and do your duty. Everybody has got his own place to do whatever their duties. So Rama could effectively kill the demons. Vishwamitra could do it, but he realized that being a sannyasi is not supposed to do that. Okay? So here the Lord says in this verse, Kurvan karma, by performing your actions, your duties, dictated by what? Swabhava niyatam, by your own nature. Taking up all your duties by your own nature. What is the most important thing? Na apnoti kil bisham. You do not incur kil bisham. You do not incur sin. Now here we must understand the word. What is the word kil bisham? What does sin mean? Okay. By taking up your duties according to your nature, you don't incur sin. It means that if you try to do somebody else's duties and you don't settle, what is this sin? This sin is all the agitations in your mind, your greed, anger, jealousy, pride, etc. So by taking up the duties according to your own nature, you do not incur sin. But if you try to do some other person's duty looks easy, but you still have the impurities in your mind. You have anger, greed, jealousy, pride. You are not going to dilute all these things. So the purpose of again coming back to doing action with the right attitude is to remove all these impurities from the mind. And that is what we call as karma yoga. When you do your duty, it is called karma yoga. Why is it called karma yoga? What is the meaning of karma yoga? Two words there. Karma and yoga. What is the difference between karma yoga and karma? What is the difference between karma yoga and karma? Karma is action. Simple, right? When you add the word yoga, what happens? What is the meaning of yoga? Attitude, surrender. Yoga means to unite with the Supreme Being. So karma is doing action. Yoga means uniting with the Supreme Being. So karma yoga means right action, right attitude. So we must always understand that you do right action, but you don't have the right attitude, then you have a problem. Then it is not karma yoga. So he says, by doing your duties with the right attitude, you will not incur sin. Sorry, you will not incur sin means you will not have agitations in your mind. Right? You won't get angry, upset. Why? Because you consider every duty I'm doing for the Lord. So there's no agitation, there's no anger in your mind. Whatever happens, you can accept it. There's no disturbance in your mind. Okay? Right. Right.
Leading the army, in fact.
Leading the army, right.
Fighting hard.
Right.
He's day noticing hard.
You see, they also, in a way, they were also doing their duty because they also had, okay, this is why when you see, who's the other character? Bhishma Pita. right?
It's not a sentence.
No, no doubt. But you see, Bhishma Pita, he stood on the side of adharma.
That's different.
So what's your question then?
My question is,
Huh.
study of
Dronacharya and
Vishwamitra wanted to
okay,
kill
okay,
demons himself.
okay,
And just gave the mantras to
Rama, right?
Now, that means it
Dronacharya,
has been said by a few people, actually writers now, who said that Drona did wrong
right,
because he is a man of the cloth.
right. He should not have taken part, arms,
He's teaching them how to
right,
archery and etc.
right,
But go out there
and fight.
actually kill and fight and all that, wasn't it wrong?
I mean, again,
Same with the Bhagavad.
same also because they are not supposed to engage in battle, but everybody was forced by different circumstances to go into battle. See, that's why I came back to Bhishma Pita. By right, he also should not have be standing on the side of the Kauravas.
Not really, because in this case, he vowed to his
Exactly,
father,
yeah,
Shantanu,
exactly.
he will be there
To protect.
guarding Hastinapura.
Exactly.
It's not good.
So that's why my point is everybody was bound by different circumstances. They had to break the rules in order to, even though they're standing on the side of adharma, but because he'd given the promise to his father to protect the throne of Hastinapura, he had to stand on the side of adharma. And he paid for it by his own life. Right? So everybody bound by different circumstances came there. But yes, coming back to your point, therefore they were not doing their swadharma, which means to uphold dharma, to uphold righteousness. That's where everybody failed there. In the end,
Like Vidura just walked away.
right.
No, to me,
And the other son of the Kauravas, what was his name? Huh? What's the name? Vikarma, who didn't fight with the,
he
Ka-
was
who was the one?
continued by Yuyutsu.
Yeah, Ayuyutsu, okay, who walked over to the Pandavas.
Yeah.
Right.
He walked over to the
Pandavas, right.
He was free and easy because his mother is not Gandhari.
Correct. And he survived the battle because why? He,
And he remained
yeah,
imposed.
and because he followed the path of dharma again. But those who violated dharma all ended up losing their lives.
That is why they are fighting in Dharmashetra.
And Kurukshetra.
And
But do they also have to, would this affect their karma also in the next life?
Definitely.
Because they didn't follow their
Their
dharma.
dharma, exactly, definitely. That's why he's saying, follow your dharma. He keeps on repeating here, follow your dharma, follow your dharma. So now, in verse 48 now, Krishna explains why one should not give up one's own duty, although it is defective. So he says here in verse 48, Kaunteya, meaning another name for Arjuna, na tyajit, you should not give up karma. You should never ever give up your duties. Whatever duties you find yourself in, whatever challenges you have, you should not give up. And he says, how to know which is my duty? Sahajam, that means to which you are born. So when you are born, there's already certain type of gunas in you, certain type of nature in you. You follow your nature. And did you get to choose your parents? Some people are doubtful here. Did you get to choose your parents? No, you could not choose your parents. You were born, that's your mother, that's your father. Did you get to choose your brothers and sisters? Did you get to choose your wife? Better don't answer that.
to our karma,
Huh. Already some karmic connection is there.
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, there are many choiceless situations where you will find yourself there. And they all bring their own challenges also. So he's saying sahajam, to which you are born in, that is what you should take care of your duties and responsibilities also. So he says, api sadosham, even though there is some defects, there are challenges, there are difficulties in everybody's life. So that doesn't mean that you should give up your duties. There is a purpose why you have come into this situation. You have to understand that you have to meet those challenges. Okay. And therefore he says, he gives a beautiful example. Sarva aramba, all undertakings, whatever actions you are doing, just like they all have their challenges, and he gives a beautiful example. Just like Agni, fire, is covered by dhumena, by smoke. Wherever there's fire, there is smoke. Wherever there are karmas, you have to burn, there are challenges. You cannot run away from these challenges. So whatever it is, you have to face it. You have to burn up your karmas. What are the karmas that you're burning up? What are they called? Prarabdha karmas. Always keep remembering that it is your prarabdha karmas that you have to exhaust. You cannot run away from your prarabdha karmas. So even the Lord will not burn away your prarabdha karmas because you were born with it. Until you don't exhaust it, you will not meet death also. So what is death? Death is when all the prarabdha karmas have been exhausted. And that's when you have to leave this body to come to another situation, into another environment also. Okay? So here he's explaining to us now the attitude to the action that is most important also. Okay? So now we come to verse 49 now. Now from verses 49 to 57, okay, Krishna will now outline to us the path of spirituality step by step, how to ultimately reach the supreme good. So these verses 49 to 57. He's repeating back everything that has been given in the last 17 chapters. The path of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. These three parts will be beautifully outlined in these verses 49 to 57. So now let us first go back to understand this. Let us go back to chapter 3, verse 3. The very important verse there. Chapter 3, verse 3. Which is on page 60. Okay. So here, where he introduced first about his whole creation. Lokesmin dvivida nishta pura proktam mayanaga kyana yogena samkhyanam karma yogena yoginam. He says, Loke smin. Asmin means in this loka. So when he's talking about this loka means which loka? Bhuloka. Bhuloka, the earth loka, which we are now presently, all of us are in. How many lokas are there? 14, world of fortune. Everybody guessing here, 7, 14. 14 lokas totally, right? But now he's talking about Bhuloka. Why particularly Bhuloka? Why not about all the other lokas? Huh? We are here.
Can exhaust our
Bhuloka is the only loka where you can, whatever action you perform, there is a what we call a karma phalam. There is a result. Whereas if you go to Swarga lokas, the heavenly lokas, whatever you do there, whatever action, good or bad, there is no more karma phalam. Even in the Patal lokas, the the hells, whatever good or bad you do, there is no more further karma phalam. So Swarga loka, you just go to exhaust your karmas. Naraka lokas, you also exhaust your karmas. But this Bhuloka, you got to be very careful. Not only are you exhausting your karmas, but every wrong mistake, wrong action you do, you incur another karma. So we want to stop everything. This is our only opportunity, Bhuloka. So he says, Loke asmin, in this loka, dvivida nishta. Dvivida means twofold, nishta means path. So Krishna says, there is a twofold path. Where was this given? Pura prokta. The Lord says, Prokta, I spoke about this before. Where did you speak about this before? Where was this two parts given or talked about before? So we come back again to the Vedas, because the Vedas came before the Bhagavad Gita. And the Vedas also only give two parts. Vedas also say there are only two parts of spirituality in this world. One is called Karma Kanda, one is called Jnana Kanda. Okay? So the Vedas, 80% of the Vedas speak about Karma Kanda. 20% speak about Jnana Kanda. Now, what is Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda is all about the duties of different people, about performing rituals, prayers, etc. Jnana Kanda only talks about the knowledge of Brahman, how to attain the highest, how to merge and become one with Brahman. So the Lord says here, I've spoken about that in Vedas, but now I'm going to tell you the same thing in the Gita. So what is the Gita? The Gita is a condensation of the Vedas. In the Vedas, it's called Karma Kanda. In Gita, it's called Karma Yoga. In the Vedas, it's called Jnana Kanda. In the Gita, it's called Jnana Yoga. There is no change in the philosophy. It's only the name, the title is changed. Right? Right? Old packaging, what in a new bottle. Same packaging in new bottle now you're getting. So people say Gita very difficult, brother, 700 verses. Then what to tell them? To read and understand 700 verses, very difficult. Krishna has already condensed the whole Veda, Gita. Somehow you're not happy with Gita, then better you go and read the Vedas. Vedas, how many verses? 100,000 verses. So better go and read that. Already condensed for you, 700 verses also not enough. Somehow what can we do? So, sorry, okay, so now I'm coming back, I'm coming to Bhakti Yoga. Where Bhakti Yoga suddenly disappeared now. So look at the third line. Jnana Yogena Samkhyanam. For the Sankhyas, I've given the path of Jnana Yoga. Karma Yogena Yoginam. For the yogis, I've given the path of Karma Yoga. Okay. Now, first of all, what is Samkhyanam? Who are the Sankhyais? They are those people who have attained inner maturity. They are more inward looking. They do a lot of contemplation, reflection. So they are what we call introverts. So for those people who are not outwardly going, I've given the path of Jnana Yoga. And for the Yoginam means those who are active in society, who are outgoing, extrovert, I've given the path of Karma Yoga. Now, the first question is, are these two separate paths? Is Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga two separate paths? Are they meant for different people, for different way? Later is going to explain that you start with Karma Yoga because most of us have got many duties, responsibilities. We are extrovert. But if you follow all your actions according to Karma Yoga, right action, right attitude, you purify your mind, then you become more introvert. Then you come to Jnana Yoga. So it is Karma Yoga leading to Jnana Yoga, leading to Moksha. Okay. Now the question is, where is Bhakti Yoga missing? See, it doesn't talk about Bhakti Yoga at all. Suddenly Bhakti Yoga is missing already. So where is Bhakti Yoga?
You must infuse the bhakti in both Jnana and Karma.
Exactly. So karma and jnanam must be infused with bhakti, because if there's no bhakti in karma, karma remains karma. It doesn't become karma yoga. If there's no bhakti in jnanam, then jnanam becomes jnanam but not jnana yoga. So when you infuse bhakti into karma, it becomes karma yoga. You infuse bhakti into jnanam. That means, what I'm saying very simple. You come here and study the scriptures. What are you studying for? What are you studying for? One is knowledge. Why are you studying?
Purification.
So how do you get purification? Unless you have devotion for the Lord. So with devotion for the Lord, I study the scriptures, it becomes Jnana Yoga. With devotion for the Lord, I do my duties and responsibilities, it becomes Karma Yoga. So Bhakti is the support of both Karma and Jnana also. So there are only two parts. Now these two parts are going to be again summarized again in these verses, which I explained just now. Okay, verses 49 to 57, Krishna is going to go through again and summarize for us these verses. Okay, so what does he first start with? He starts with saying, Asakta Buddhi. The first thing is the intellect must remain unattached. Asakta Buddhi. Okay, Sarvatra, to everything. So first of all, he says you must cultivate a very healthy intellect. Now, when he says a healthy intellect, what does it mean? He's not talking about jnana yoga. He's not talking about knowledge here. But before we perform any action, we must understand why we are performing the action, why we are performing the rituals. So it is not just mechanically doing your duties, mechanically performing actions. We understood that the purpose of performing actions and rituals is for what? Purification of mind. Therefore, I should have the right attitude of why I perform these actions. If I don't change my attitude, I'm not going to attain purification of mind. So if you go back to another beautiful verse in the Gita, chapter 2, verse 49. See, all is connected. This whole chapter 18 is a summary of all the past chapters. So we must connect back with these earlier verses. Chapter 2, verse 49. Now here, Krishna gave a definition of karma yoga. Okay. The definition was, he says, take refuge in Buddhi Yoga. Very important line here. Chapter 2, verse 49, he's talking about Karma Yoga, but he's telling you take refuge in Buddhi Yoga, which means what? Get the right knowledge of why you're performing the actions, change your attitude. So you must have knowledge first to guide your actions, to understand what is the purpose of life. So here, first of all, in this verse 40, what do you call this? 49, he starts first by talking about Karma Yoga. But when we want to perform Karma Yoga, we must know what we are doing. See, if you don't have the knowledge, you think just I'm giving donation, I'm doing charity, I'm doing prayers, I'm doing so many fire rituals, I'm going pilgrimage, I'm doing okay. I'm doing the right thing. No. The thing we have to understand is what is the attitude that you're doing. Are you doing all this for the purpose of going to Swarga Loka? Are you doing all these actions because you want something, rewards from God to give you a promotion, a better life, more better health? Then you are doing it for different purposes. It is okay, but you are not attaining purity of mind. So he says, first of all, understand that you must understand the reason behind your actions, number one. Number two, very important, discipline in our spiritual life. The very first thing, Jitat, Jitatma. Now, Jit, Atma, there are two words here. Jit means victory. Atma here does not mean soul. You cannot get victory over the soul. The Atma here means the mind. You must get victory over your mind. So why do I need knowledge to perform the right action? Because I want to purify my mind. Once I purify my mind, I have full control over my mind. I have victory over my mind. Then I can guide my mind in the right direction. Because as long as my mind is filled with ego, anger, jealousy, pride, I am not going to go anywhere. So acquire knowledge, understand the purpose of action, perform right action. Purpose is to gain victory over your mind. Jit Atma. So remember this, the word Atma does not only mean soul. Atma has got many, many, many meanings, depending on the context of this verse. And then he comes to the next point. So first is acquire knowledge, perform action with the right attitude, Jit Atma, gain victory over your mind. Then the third one is Vikataha Spraha, become a desireless person. Now, this is one of the most difficult parts. When we say become a desireless person, meaning that you should not hanker and waste a lot of time on running after sensual and material enjoyments. So you have to take time aside to understand the scriptures, understand the knowledge. Do not go and spend a lot of time running after all these sensual and material enjoyments. So for all that, we need to understand, why should we not run after these sensual and material enjoyments? Why should we not? What is the purpose of staying away or slowly pulling back from all this? We understand that they are temporary. So if we are seeking that permanent, infinite happiness, we have to understand that whatever we pursue in this world, everything is temporary. Only when we come to this understanding and accept, then we reach a state of desirelessness, which means we don't hanker for all these things. If they are there, it's okay. But if they are not there, I'm also okay. There is no hankering for it. Okay? So, in fact, he has warned us also. In chapter 9, verse 33, he gave us a description of what is this Bhuloka. Chapter 9, verse 33, beautiful verse is one line he said there. Anityam asukam lokam. What is this loka? We have to understand, we have to approach this world in a very intelligent way. This world has got two qualities, anityam and asukam. So what is anityam? Nityam is that which is permanent. When you put the in front of nityam, which means becomes temporary or changing or fleeting. That is the nature of the world. You can't change it, right? And the second quality of this world is asukham. Sukham means happiness. Asukham means sorrow. So why is the world a place of sorrow? Why does he describe? Is there no happiness in the world? Do we get some happiness from the world? We do get happiness from the world, but yet he describes this as asukham. It is a abode of unhappiness. Why? Yeah, so anything that is not permanent, upon its arrival, gives you happiness. Upon its departure, gives you sorrow. And some things upon arrival give you sorrow, but upon departure give you happiness. So since the world is impermanent and changing, it cannot give you complete happiness. Not that you can't get happiness, you can get, but you cannot get infinite happiness. Asukam anityam asukam lokam. So he carries on to say here, therefore, one who can follow these qualities, get the right knowledge to direct your actions, control your mind, and control your desires, what happens? Adi Gachati attains a state of nice karmyam siddhi. Now he introduces one more word, nice karmyam siddhi. That is success in the realization of the self, of the higher self. So first is purity of the mind, which will lead you to realization of your real self. Okay. Now the one question we have to always ask ourselves, where do desires come from? So, where do desires come from? So the nature, your vasanas, right? Your past actions. So let's say you have a desire for eating chocolates. Desire. Keep eating chocolate, keep eating chocolate. What happened to your vasanas? Very strong vasanas for chocolate. So every time is already embedded in your mind now. You must have chocolate, right? So desires come from vasanas. And vasanas come from past actions. So just think, when you perform selfish actions, you create selfish vasanas and they create more desires and you're caught up in a chain of actions. So selfish actions make vasanas more stronger selfishly, and that creates your desires to act in a selfish manner.
These vasanas have also come with you from the previous life.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So what is our duty now? How to change the direction of these vasanas. Right? If we don't change the direction of these vasanas, they will continue to get stronger and stronger. And how do we change? Don't forget, you have
Choice.
freedom, your willpower, your freedom of choice. So you can change your vasanas by directing your actions to a different, to a higher, to a more noble cause. Okay? So when we come back next week, we will take up the balance of this verse and proceed on with the next verse. Okay. Then with the prayer. Vasudeva sutam devam kansa chanura mardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadguru.